Ladies and gentlemen, Super Wildcard Weekend has come and it has gone just like that. And with all those games means this is another exciting edition of the Kirby on Sports podcast, breaking down anything and everything that happened Super Wildcard Weekend. Plus, we will give you a look at the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. The playoffs are always fun to cover on the Kirby on Sports podcast, and we are glad to bring you another week of the Kirby on Sports podcast with the weapon Dan Dembski, the Swiss Army knife Carlos Martinez, and friend of the show will be joining us a little bit later, Deb Whitcas. But first and foremost, our sponsors who have been with us through thick and thin on the Kirby on Sports podcast: PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett's Pest and Termite Services, Shenandoah Music, Guild Mortgage, and Mark Lynch, and the official energy drink sponsor of the Kirby on Sports podcast, Don't Sleep Energy. Use promo code Kirby for 10% your entire order at don'tsleepenergy.com. It's going to be an exciting show. It all comes your way next. The Kirby on Sports podcast starts right now. All right, I'm not wasting any more time because I am as eager as you are to get into some Super Wildcard Weekend action. My guy, the weapon, Dan Dembski, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Just another busy week, just trying to make moves, trying to make this podcast the best it can be. And without your help, I'm not sure where I'd be.
The grind never stops, my man. That's what they say.
The grind never stops. And a man who is over the moon because the Dallas Cowboys beat the GOAT, the one, the only, the Swiss Army knife Carlos Martinez.
All right, listen, I got a bone to pick with you right now, Kirby, okay? Who writes your intros, man? Bring me the energy. Where's the energy, my dog? My dog. My God.
No.
You got to be like...
I think I'm gonna have to start taking over that responsibility. I might have to open the show. Where's the energy?
Well, yeah,
like a stadium host
stuff out,
fires everybody up.
I write stuff up, and then it's like, it's not that good, so I have to tweak it here and there, and it's like, it took me 5 tries. Trust me, I tried my best. So I do.
And now you've given away.
That's what I'm saying. Now you practiced it in the mirror, and now we're just like,
sauce.
What are we doing?
Wow.
Boom, fourth wall.
That is a hell of an intro. That's probably the best one yet, I think.
Listen,
I appreciate that.
I bring the best out of y'all. I appreciate it.
Always. Well, for a Super Wildcard recap show.
Super Wildcard Weekend.
Yes, correct. We did that last year too. Super Wildcard Weekend. But anyways, we had to bring in a good friend of the show. She's been on before, and she has 2 Emmy Awards right behind her as we are speaking. My good friend, Deb Whitcas. Good evening, Deb.
Hello. Oh my God, they're real.
They're real.
How you doing?
Really hard for this. Good. How are you guys? Just, I'm excited to talk about Super Wildcard Weekend. Just got off the phone with a former NFL player about some Super Bowl stuff too. So doing a lot of NFL alumni events for Super Bowl week. And busy.
Always making the moves over there. You're on the West Coast right now, right?
Yep. In LA at the moment. Excited for Arizona. Trying to make it to Pro Bowl too. So trying to hook up Vegas as well. So on the move.
I'm just gonna go off on one bunny trail. I saw you covered Georgia TCU in the national championship game. That was such a snooze fest, wasn't it?
It really was. And it was honestly even tougher because I had interviewed all of the TCU players. And so, I mean, they're kids, you know what I mean? Like they're 18, 19 to 22 kids. And they were just so excited to be there. And for them to lose that bad, I was like, is there a mercy rule in college football? Because they need to enforce it right now.
The mercy rule is turning the game off. That was the mercy rule.
Yeah.
I turned that off after the first quarter. I was like, this is it. This is a wrap.
Yeah.
Which if you're covering it, there's no way you can do that, unfortunately. Right. So
was excited to see Stetson Bennett win it again, and Kirby and so, but I mean,
he's a character. He's a character. Yeah.
So, but yeah, the TCU players, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough to see, but it must have been fun for you covering it, Deb. So once again, I appreciate you coming on for this. Let's get right into the wild card action. We'll start in order as the games win. So San Francisco turning on the Jets towards the end of the game against Seattle. I mean, I'm not going to say Seattle flat out. Like, I liked what Seattle did, but I just don't think after a while San Francisco catched up to them and just sort of overpowered them with all the 49ers weapons. But the Seahawks, they've come a very long way, and we now know at this point, and I believe you said this before, Carlos, that the Seahawks have won the trade with Russell Wilson. And they definitely that trade. For that. And Geno Smith will be back, and Geno Smith has solidified it himself, and he does not need to return any phone calls. I'm sort of ad-libbing off what he said. Deb, I'll start with you. Your thoughts from this game as the 49ers and Brock Purdy seem to be red hot going into their next matchup next weekend.
Yep. No, I mean, I actually thought it was not a bad game. That first half, it was definitely back and forth. I was impressed that the Seahawks made the playoffs in the first place, coming off of Russell Wilson last season, and Geno Smith has done a great job. Way better than I think anybody expected. Good for him. Yeah, I mean, but come on, it's San Fran. Christian McCaffrey, is he's one of the best running backs in the league, and he has shown that. And I mean, dear God, just the amount of weapons on that team. I have them for Super Bowl. I think it's going to be, NFC, going to be Eagles, San Fran. I'm an Eagles fan. It pains me to say that.
You just lost so many points just now.
I know.
You're in the negative now. You do understand you're in the presence of a Ravens fan and a Commanders fan and a Cowboys/Chiefs fan, and you're going to bring up the Eagles.
Sorry. we are number one right now, so just saying that. But,
True.
Fair enough, but
it's going to be tough. But I do have San Fran. So I have San Fran Bills. So yeah, no, I mean, it was all what we were expecting. San Fran was expected to win. They did. And we'll see, how they come out for the next game.
Yeah, I think what most impressed me, I think what most impressed me was just how well San Francisco adjusted in the second half, because that first half was kind of rough for them. Seattle was definitely hanging in there, and then of course had the 1-point lead at the half, but San Francisco just has too many weapons. I think Kyle Shanahan, one of the best coaches in the NFL when it comes to second half adjustments. And that, to me, that was the difference in this game. Seattle just didn't have enough to keep pace. And like Deb said, they weren't even supposed to be here. You know, they weren't even supposed to make the postseason. The fact that they even had a winning record was, you know, a positive thing. So it was a great effort for Seattle. You know, as we said, you know, Geno Smith is going to be back. He's the answer quarterback. They definitely have some things they have to address in the offseason.
But they got all the draft capital to do it.
They got all the draft capital to do it. Amen. So, you know, I think they're going to be fine. San Francisco, I agree with Deb. They're also my Super Bowl pick.
Dan, don't show your cards yet, dude.
Sorry.
we still have a Super Bowl pregame show to get to where we reveal it. Now you just ruined it. Assuming
I'm pretty sure.
Assuming they get there.
I'm probably going to go winless now that I've said that. So
Thanks,
I've already jinxed it. So
here comes the 24 pancakes for you then, buddy.
Oh well, I like pancakes. I don't have a problem eating 24 pancakes. So yeah,
you with me.
Yeah, because he's on route
I lost
last again.
Year.
He lost the pick'ems last year. He was supposed to eat 24 pancakes. He never paid up. So this year, if he loses the pick'ems this year, he doubles it and has to eat 48 in 24 hours. If Dan loses, he has to eat 24 pancakes in 24 hours with Kirby. And if I lose, I have to do the Hot Ones challenge live on the podcast.
Oh, that's fun. I have to be a part of that one.
Yeah.
Just to see it.
The live stream is going to be great. I don't think Carlos is going to lose.
Whoa. I'm just like, you guys are assuming I'm going to lose? I'm in the lead here.
That's what I said. I said, I don't think you're going to lose at this point.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. You can afford a couple hiccups now, I think.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that we all literally have the same picks, but we're getting off topic here.
It's hard. Hey, listen, and we talked about this before. Like, it's hard when it gets down, whittles down. You're going to have some just mismatches, I think. But anyway, back to the topic at hand, because I have once again derailed us, as I often do on this podcast. San Francisco, just way too many weapons. They took care of business in the second half like they should have. And they really flexed their muscles, had 500 yards of offense. So I was just very impressed with the fact that they were able to pull away and do it kind of quickly as well. So they're going to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch, I think, obviously. So that's really all I have to say about this game. I was sort of tuning in and out, so I kind of started to see when they started to pull away. You kind of lose interest at that point. And this was really the only game this weekend that was like, what's going on? Like, it's just not pretty. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you boys. I totally missed the first half. I went and ate Korean barbecue instead.
Good choice, though. Hey, Korean barbecue is a solid
barbecue
choice.
Slaps. All right. So by the time I came back, it was just at the end of the first half. So I got to see that final drive before halftime. And then obviously I saw the beatdown afterwards. I mean,
Tim did right at the right time.
Exactly. I mean, from all accounts, I mean, Brock Purdy played a pretty bad first half. Then he cleaned it up in the second half, played fantastic. But when you have weapons like that on that offense and you have that defense, I mean, how could you not succeed?
Absolutely.
For Seattle, I mean, they were playing with house money at this point. Like, nobody had expectations for them. Their Super Bowl was supposed to be them beating Russell Wilson week 1. And here they are in the playoffs. And, they're solid with Geno Smith. They like I said last week, they clearly won the trade. I mean, there's just not really much to say aside from the fact that the meteorologists were wrong because they were saying that it was going to be a rainy, muddy game. And then I tune in and everybody's dry and not a single drop of water is out there. And I was like, what the heck happened? So I was expecting that game to be, I was expecting that game to be like a complete like slop fest out there. And then it was just a normal day in San Francisco. So, I mean, there's not really much to say about this game. The 49ers are the 49ers and the Seahawks, they, it was a nice little story while it lasted.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I feel like this wasn't once the 49ers ran away with it. I was like, Well, I kind of expected this. So not really much to talk about in that game, but the 49ers are moving on, defeating the Seahawks 41-23. The next game was pretty exciting. And
Dan was the only one. Dan was the only one who called this one.
Yes, Dan was. Deb, if I remember correctly, you covered the 49ers. Excuse me, the Chargers. So I'm going to give this first one to you. Watching this game in Trevor Lawrence.
My guy.
Yeah. And then coming back and literally only scoring 3 points.
Yeah.
What can you make of that performance?
I'm still it was a crazy game. I mean, Trevor looked horrible in the first half. I mean, they were horrible, like with a capital H and every letter capitalized, trailing 27-0. And obviously I'm a Chargers fan. I live in LA. Love Herbert.
I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry.
They were looking good, and then it just backfired. I think, I really think the reason why first of all, I love Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson, former Eagles,
right?
Hey,
Super Bowl, got to give it to him.
I think, great coach.
He was, and I think they were able to pull off the comeback because of him. He got in there in the halftime and rallied these guys. Trevor Lawrence. I always thought that would be a good match. Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson together. I was excited when they got together, and I think they been great. I think he did a better coaching job in the second half as well. They converted a lot. They had they converted on multiple fourth downs. Peterson also called for that two point conversion after Jacksonville had cut the lead. I think it was like 30-26 or something. And I think most NFL coaches would have taken that 1 point, and Peterson was like, "Oh no, we're going for 2." And that was the difference in the game. That's
Yep.
Why they won. So
yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was just I had the Chargers.
Me and Kirby also had the Chargers.
Yeah, the boyfriend had the Jags. I literally called him because I did his bracket, and I was like, "Babe, really?
Are you sure?
Are you sure this is what I'm turning in?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "Chargers are beat up. I feel like Jags are going to take it." I was like, "Fair, good point."
Yeah, they battled a lot of injuries.
He picked correctly for the first half. Just then.
Right.
That was just man.
Doug Peterson stepped up and Trevor Lawrence stepped up.
But also Staley just completely
that's true.
Pooped the bed. Like what are we doing? Why are 8 running plays in the second half is terrible. Like you ran no clock. Every time Herbert took a snap, there was still like 15 seconds left on the play clock. And then like he's supposed to be this defensive guru. And that defense completely fell apart. Joey Bosa's out there slamming his helmet 2 times, and then gets
He almost got tossed out of that game. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
what. It was to the brink.
I mean, he was pushing it. I don't know. I just don't know. And now they fired Joe Lombardi, and like they're making him the scapegoat. But
it's like, honestly, how is he the scapegoat?
That whole coaching staff needs to go, in my opinion, because this is one too many times where the Chargers have won these fluky games. I would say I don't think their owners would do this. I think they're too cheap to do it. But why not go out and try to get Sean Payton here, pair him up with Herbert? I mean, that's a match made in heaven right there.
That's a dream job for a coach and also a dream location, right?
And he's already in LA. Like Sean Payton's there.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? This team is too talented to be doing this.
They came really far. They came too far to, Justin went, Herbert went through he got hurt, rebounded from that, and then to lose this way sucks.
I mean, it's not just like, because then you think about last year, the Raiders game.
Oh,
that was
one of the most epic season finales in a while. You think about that. You think about every single game against the Chiefs that always ends up a little weird. It's just, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's the coaching staff just isn't there. Like, they're not at the level they need to be. And this team is too talented to not be succeeding and blowing 27-point leads. Like, this just makes no sense. But to your point about Doug Peterson, I mean, the guy literally just made it simple. He's like, we just got to chip away. Like, that's literally what he said after halftime. Just chip away. And that's what they did. And next thing you know it, they win the game. I mean, just a masterful coaching job on his part, you know, making sure that Trevor Lawrence didn't get too high, didn't get too low. And just and just keeping them in the game. I mean, 5 turnovers and you still lose the. Oh my God, this just gets worse the more I think about it.
And like Trevor only had 7 turnovers the entire season, and then you do 4 or 5 in one game in the first half. Like he definitely, his head wasn't in it. Doug, you know, Doug turned that over and got him back in the game. Thank God.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why Doug Peterson has a claim at Coach of the Year, but I still think it's Dayball. But I mean, he's done done a masterful job with the Jaguars, and he was like, I'm with you, Deb. Like when they announced him as the head coach of the Jaguars, I was like, that's the perfect fit for Trevor Lawrence. That's the guy they needed. Like you know, an adult, a guy who's been there, who's been successful recently. You know, like people don't give him enough credit. Like. The Eagles team that he led to the Super Bowl, like that was an incredible team. Like, and they did it with the backup quarterback. Like they did it with Nick Foles.
Yeah, who hasn't gone on to be successful with any
at all.
I love Nick Foles, love him. Yeah. But I literally have the Philly special on my laptop. Like I'll show it to you guys.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Literally right here.
There you go. Goodness. Right there. There it is. Love that.
Yeah.
Yes. So with this win, and I know I understand where you're coming from about Dable, but I really think this Coach of the Year race is going to be very, very tight after what Doug Peterson pulled. I mean, I would have been more surprised if Peterson's background was different, but he took this Philly team to a Super Bowl. So he knows how to win. But just, I watched that halftime before he went to the locker room interview, and I heard him say, just chipping away, and it just stuck with me. Then every time the Jags scored, I just kept hearing, chipping away. I don't know why. It just stood out to me in a big way, and they ended up winning, and I was like, Doug Peterson, he's a genius. So... yeah,
I just feel like
an incredible game.
I just feel like we're also not giving the Jags defense enough credit either.
Oh, sure, they stepped up.
The Chargers play calling was atrocious, but it takes you know, it took the Jags defense stepping up to get them the ball back. So I think that goes without saying as well. So what a wild game. I didn't expect that. When that game took off the way it did, I was just like, oh man, my pick looks so stupid and foolish now. I was like, I wish I could go back and change it, but
I was about to tune out of the game. I was literally about to just switch the channel, watch something else, and then I was like, all right, I'll just stay for a little bit. And then
I did. I mean, I was tracking it on my phone, and then I was actually in DC, so I was watching it, and I was like, oh my God, they're actually coming back. And then next thing you know, the game-winning field goal, which was pretty close too. He bent it in there, so I was like, oof, like. And Al Michaels could not have given like a less enthusiastic game-winning.
I'm sorry. I'm just glad to see Al Michaels back.
I was glad to see him back, but man, was it a bad parent. Tony Dungy did. I love Coach Dungy, but like
he's great. He's
just not a color commentator.
He's just not exciting. He's not exciting.
Like, Al Michaels works best with Chris Collinsworth. That's who he needs to be with. I hate that they split him up. I really do. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah. I miss Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth. I do. I really do.
I think they compliment each other too.
Huh?
Do you like Chris Collinsworth?
I mean, I I don't hate him.
He's okay.
Okay.
He's
okay.
entertaining. I mean, he's not the best. He's not the best color commentator in the game. No, but
I mean, the Eagles. That's why I don't. That's why.
You know what? I think he hates the Ravens too, because they obviously
yeah,
picked the Bengals.
Well, he was a Bengal. Yeah, of course he hates the Ravens.
Right.
I'll tell you.
It's like, okay, but you're doing a national broadcast. Yeah, exactly. But it's like you're doing a national broadcast.
Well, listen, it's just like you can always tell Aikman and Romo are always biased towards the Cowboys.
Sure.
I mean, we can all say that Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen were the stars of this weekend for sure.
They were
awesome.
Yeah.
They were awesome this weekend.
Oh yeah. Rate the broadcast crew. I don't think enough credit is given to Joe Davis. He's a multi-tool.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
He calls football and baseball.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes him so unique.
I mean, there's plenty of, you have Gus Johnson. He used to call soccer and football.
True.
And basketball.
And basketball
Gus
too.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Love Gus.
Kenny Albert does everything.
That too.
Oh yeah. He's everywhere.
Yeah. Everywhere, everything.
Crazy.
So anyways, just what a great performance. The Jags stepped up big time, and just hats off. And I will say one more thing. Absolutely legendary. Lawrence goes to Waffle House after the game.
I love it.
I love it.
Fantastic.
Not only that,
loved it.
Not only that, he called and made a reservation, which I don't think has ever been done in Waffle House history. But apparently,
listen, when you're Trevor Lawrence, like you got to be. Listen, I'm coming in. Yeah. Like, can you?
He's got his entourage and everything.
Yeah, he's got. Yeah.
His wife.
Some Waffle Houses like close off like half the restaurant at night. Yeah.
So as long as no one threw a chair, that's the big thing.
Can I please get a waffle?
You just never know in a Waffle House.
I love Waffle House.
Listen, the only thing that's guaranteed is the food is going to slap.
Absolutely,
the food is going to be fantastic. That's all. That's all you. That's all you need to know.
And you're going to gain about 10 pounds just from the one meal. But
exactly.
Oh yeah.
So.
But that's what we want.
All right, so the Jags over the Chargers 31-30. When we come back, we'll give you the Sunday matchups and what we liked, what we didn't. We'll be right back. For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com. All right, welcome back. The Kirby on Sports podcast is the three-man booth, and we're joined today by special guest Deb Whitcas, good friend of the show. Let's move into the Sunday slate of games. And this game, I mean, how do I put it? Yeah, I'll start off pregame. I was hoping, but it didn't happen, that DeMar Hamlin would be there, because I knew if DeMar Hamlin would have been there, that place would have been rocking its socks off.
It was already rocking its socks off.
Oh, it was rocking.
Yeah, I was like,
it would
need him there.
Even better if he was there.
Sure. But they're probably saving it for this week.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm thinking too.
It was one of the loudest environments, probably the loudest environment of the weekend.
I would attribute the crowd a lot to the reason why the Bills pulled this game off.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But the Bills, I mean, let's just look here. I mean, the Dolphins obviously playing Skylar Thompson, and we all expected the Bills to destroy the Dolphins.
And they were doing it.
They stepped up. I was impressed that I thought it was gonna be a landslide win. Not even close.
I mean, the Dolphins managed with what they had. And I think Thompson didn't have a good game, but I feel like the receivers around him, especially Hill and Waddle, sort of helped him in a way.
Josh Allen helped him a lot too by throwing 3 picks, yet he's not getting destroyed the way Dak Prescott gets destroyed. When
he doesn't.
But you know what?
He doesn't get criticized like that.
I'm gonna let that slide.
He doesn't get criticized like that.
I'm gonna let it slide.
I'll say too, though, Skylar Thompson had to throw it 45 times. So the fact that they were still that game was still close, credit to him. I mean, you can't expect a young guy to come in there and in a playoff environment and throw it 45 times and win. And the Dolphins had a chance to win this game.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's one of the toughest environments in the National Football League. I mean, you think outside of probably Lambeau, let me think. That's Buffalo's up there. For sure.
Arrowhead,
Seattle probably. Yeah.
I think those are probably the tougher. Yeah. The most
big three.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. So, I mean, credit to him for keeping them in the game. Now he did have a couple of mistakes where you're like, he's not the starter for a reason. But I
think we can all safely say that if Tua played, the Dolphins would have won.
The Dolphins win this game. Yeah, no doubt.
No doubt. I agree. The Bills.
I agree. If the stat line was the same for the Bills, they definitely would have won, because Tua, obviously more experience, can mobile, and he can get the job done. We've seen that. So if the stat line was the same and Tua was in this game, we might be talking about a Dolphins upset over the Bills instead of a Bills win.
Well, I think so. And when he came in, the start of the season, he had that immediate connection to Waddle and Hill. Mm-hmm. Of course with Waddle before, but Hill this year. Mm-hmm. And it was like, wow, of course, after week 3, everyone's saying, oh, Tua, is he the MVP this year? And, obviously that conversation was way too early in the season. But, injuries happen. It's just kind of, and unfortunately Tua has faced multiple concussions. So who really knows what his future holds? I don't really think I know. I don't think anybody really knows.
It seems like he's coming back. It seems like he's just going to take obviously the rest of the year off, let his head heal up.
It's smart. Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah. So
I mean, it would be a shame to to see him not come back. But
agreed.
You know what I mean? Also,
you have to take care of yourself in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
He's fun. He's fun to watch, and to challenge the Bills in that division, he has to play on this team. So, but I think in general, I think the Bills just kind of let them hang around. I wasn't overly impressed with them, and that's why we talked about our picks for this coming up weekend. I was a little, I was feeling a little shaky about picking Buffalo, and obviously we'll get to that, but. I wasn't overly impressed with them, and like you guys said, I think if Tua plays in this game, they win. It's just Josh Allen and Carlos. You said it at the top. He forces the ball way too much. I mean, there was 2 or 3 other passes he threw where you feel like those could have been intercepted. And it's just like, I don't know. He lives a little too dangerously for me.
He's definitely running. Yeah, he's definitely regressed. Slightly in terms of where he was last season. He's regressed. I just think he's trying too hard to play hero ball again. And he just needs to get back to what was making him successful, which is just just make the read, just make the right. Stop trying to force these big plays to happen, because that's where you get in trouble. And I understand. And listen, he's still clearly I don't know. You can make the case that he's number 3, but I still have him as number 2. In the quarterback rankings. Of course, Mahomes number 1. But I don't know. It's just like it's also not entirely on Josh Allen. It's also this Buffalo defense has not looked the same since Von Miller got hurt. They just have not, and that's concerning considering that. Now they're going up against the Bengals, and if you're struggling against the Dolphins with their 3rd string quarterback, a guy who played literally like
he has 3 starts and he's played 6 times.
Yeah, and it was awful against the Jets. Like how, and then he comes in here and looks like the next Tom Brady out there. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's not great.
Well,
Good.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I have the Bills for winning the Super Bowl. And after that game, I was like, oh, I might have made a mistake here.
Mistakes have been made. That was your first mistake, is believing that the Bills were going to win. But
always with that smack talk. Always. Never stops.
Listen, somebody has to be the heel on this podcast, and it's going to be me.
Yeah. You play the role very well. Not going to lie.
I know.
But yeah, you think about it. Buffalo gets out to a 7-0 lead, or 17-0 lead, and I think myself, and I'm sure you all were thinking this as well. Like, okay, here we go. This is the kind of game we expected. Bills are gonna keep their foot on the gas and run away with it, and then you got to give the Dolphins credit. Mike McDaniel's done a great job this season,
vaping on the sideline,
vaping on the sidelines, and all that. But he did a fantastic job in this game, sort of keeping their heads in it, and. Again, they were in it till the very end, and in fact had a chance to actually win this game. Yeah. So obviously, when you have a quarterback that's inexperienced in those types of situations, it shows, and that's sort of what happened. So
they got to the postseason with 3 different quarterbacks playing throughout the season.
True.
That's true. That's the point too. That's not easy to do either. You had Tua, you had Teddy, and now Skyler. Like that's.
And played a very lackluster game to get in against the Jets.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like Skylar Thompson looked atrocious against the Jets, and then just like he comes in here and just lights it up. Eventually, he just started lighting it up, and I was just like, "What is happening here?" Also, that game took way too long to end. Like they had to push back the kickoff for the Vikings and the Giants game. Like, what happened? Why did it take that long?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm glad they pushed it back, because I was like, I don't want to miss the start of the Giants game.
We still missed it. Still missed it by like, I think it was already, they were like 4 minutes in by the time Buffalo Miami ended.
I missed it because I had to save someone from an elevator. Somebody was stuck in my elevator.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness!
I almost missed the first half of the Giants Vikings game.
Oh my god!
It's okay. At least it was entertaining throughout, so it's not like you missed too much.
It was crazy. I was like, oh my god. Anyway, the firemen, we were trying to watch it on my little like portable on my tablet on my phone. It was really funny, but she's safe. Everything is good. Anyway,
Good.
That's good.
That's what I was going to ask. Was everyone rescued okay? That's what's most important.
Absolutely, 100%. But Dan, Carlos, you mentioned about the Bills atmosphere. It's electric. It's
one of the best in the league.
It's crazy. It's full of energy, and you know where I'm going with this. We have a brand new partner.
Oh wow! World-class transition. World-class
there
transition.
You go.
I didn't see that.
See, I'm working on that.
That was
Don't
good. That was
Sleep
good.
Energy
was on the
is
script.
the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Don't Sleep supports those that believe in themselves. You can get the energy from the drink and make a statement by buying some of their merchandise on don'tsleepenergy.com. Don't sleep, be great. Don'tsleepenergy.com. You can use the promo code Kirby for 10% off your entire order every single time. Follow them on social media at Don't Sleep Energy. Really great company and great work they do. Don'tsleepenergy.com. So the Bills the Dolphins, the Bills defeating the Dolphins 34-31. And let's talk about the Giants and the Vikings game. Deb,
I was vindicated.
Yeah, obviously, Deb, you missed the first half of the game, but still, I'm sure you saw a lot of excitement in this game. But one takeaway from this game
is that I made the only pick correctly.
Okay, 2 takeaways. Carlos was right. Congratulations, Carlos, a gold medal for you.
Thank you.
You didn't hear the end of it in the group chat. So,
well, I'm sorry, Dad, because you were the one vehemently defending the Vikings.
I was not. I never vehemently defended them.
That is a lie. I will pull up the tape.
All right, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Pull it up now. Too much to go through. I will go through.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So listen, everybody. If anybody, because I've heard some stuff about, Kirk Cousins sucks in this game and stuff. If you think that's the case, you're absolutely wrong. And that game did not come down.
No, I'm not going to blame it on Kirk Cousins entirely.
That game did not come down to the 4th down play where he threw it for half the yardage. The defense was atrocious in this game.
Agreed.
And this has been a narrative for the Vikings all year long. And the Vikings, with an ending 13-4 record, playing this well, yes, the offense looked great, but we all know the saying, defense wins championships, and that did not happen in this game.
Yep.
Yeah, and you pretty much said it. I mean, it's just like, all season long, I feel like their defense has given up just an absurd amount of points. What was the I guess the game against the Colts, what for me was like the one
33-0.
Yeah, where it was like, oof.
Well,
maybe I should have lost my faith in them completely after that, but I guess it didn't deter me this playoff cycle
after that Dallas loss. But okay,
yeah.
I mean, I think too, it didn't help that Daniel Jones had a near perfect game. You know what I mean?
Great.
He was
great.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
301 passing yards, like 78, kind of insane numbers. So yeah, he had a great game, and I mean, Barkley looked legit. He has obviously stepped up, and the Giants defense is good. I mean, they held Justin Jefferson, which is tough to do. Yeah. So, I mean, the Giants just played a really good game too.
Absolutely,
they did. They deserve a ton of credit, and I kind of felt like they would fold in this. I think Carlos. I'm gonna say it.
What am I doing? I'm not
nothing.
Nothing.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I did not have confidence in the Giants in this game. I think I said this before.
I don't know why.
When we make our picks. I don't know. I guess I felt like they weren't legit, which I guess I should have felt that way about the Vikings.
I mean.
So.
I can understand it. I can understand the point. Yeah. I mean, it's not like the Giants have given us much to have faith on them about in recent history, right?
The NFC, it's just like it's been tough this year for me to besides the late run of San Francisco. It's just been tough for me to see who's the next best team.
But I think that's the beauty of this season is there is no super team out there right now. There is no Rams. There is no Buccaneers. There is no team that's standing everybody right now is saying the 49ers right now, but it's not as if the 49ers can't not be beat, right? Brock Purdy technically hasn't faced any real tough competition lately. I mean, let's call it what it his toughest game was against the Raiders, and I mean. Then you see what the Raiders or what the Chiefs do to the Raiders the next week. It's just are the 49ers slipping? We don't know yet. We haven't seen them we haven't seen Brock Purdy against a stout defense, which we're going to see this week against the Dallas defense, but it's still going to be a tough matchup. It's still going to be
a great matchup.
It's going to be a great matchup, but it's going to be a really hard game. But we'll get to that later.
Games are going to be tough next week.
I know.
Maybe not Chiefs Jags. I think that one's kind of
true.
Yeah, that one's kind of a given, but where was I going? The Giants.
But
but the Giants. I mean, the reason why I had faith in the Giants going into this game was because of their performance earlier in the season against the Vikings. They should have won that game. They they outgained that Vikings offense by 100 yards. They had significantly more plays. It's just they just couldn't get into the end zone and make points out of it. And they only lost by a field goal. So to me, I don't know. I just had a feeling going into that game, like the Giants know that they can beat the Vikings, and the Vikings know that the Giants could beat them. And again, Kirk Cousins wasn't the issue necessarily in that game, but he also didn't help the team too much in terms of, like, again, on that 4th down play, why are you throwing it? Why are you checking it down?
It's a brutal,
terrible. And again, you're rarely giving it to, and also, like, Justin Jefferson's not, like, you're one of the best receivers in the league. You have to find a way to perform. I mean, you just have to. You have to find a way. And then, Dalvin Cook was getting nothing done. This Giants defense is not, they're not, aside from their front line or, their defensive line, it's not like their secondary has studs and superstars on there, right? Like, Dallas has torched the Giants twice this season. And the Vikings have significantly better receivers, I would say. Why couldn't they do it? I don't know. For sure, the defense let down the Vikings, but I mean, also, it's not like the offense did too much. Again, a lot of one-score games this season. That's another reason why I didn't have a lot of faith in the Vikings, because eventually
they pulled a lot of wins out of their butts.
Yeah, it was they won 11-0 in one-score games. That's
a lot of adversity.
You're living life on the edge. You're living life on the, like, you're asking for a loss at the worst time at that point, and it finally hit them. Like, they finally couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, and Cousins really had to sort of lock on to Hawkinson too, because I mean they did a great job covering Justin Jefferson. Thielen couldn't really get going.
Thielen hasn't been good like all year. Like, he's been he's
kind of slipped away this year. Not sure if he's battling injuries or what. Guys get banged up and bruised during the season, so that's just part of the game. But it's kind of like wondering what's going on there, but. Yeah, I thought Cousins played well enough, but yeah, that 4th down play was just like, that was like the epitome, I think, of Kirk Cousins' career. The fact that's what you do in that situation.
By, for sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. His big moments are pretty much all negative. I mean, I can't really think, other than you like that, which is probably one of the proudest moments in Kirby's lifetime as a Washington fan.
Wait, what happened?
That was a great.
You like that? You like that?
Great comeback. So,
yeah.
But no, I just, you got to give the Giants a lot of credit. They have completely turned it around.
You got to give Brian Daboll a lot of credit. That dude has got this. He's got Daniel Jones looking like a competent quarterback. He's got Saquon Barkley.
What?
17
carries?
Again,
are you serious?
I mean,
since when is he a lead option
Daniel Jones's issue has been coaching, it seems like.
Yeah.
The dude always had talent. We always knew he was athletic. It's just the Giants always had the worst coaches, and they finally made the right coaching hire in Brian Daboll, the guy who molded Josh Allen from nothing.
Good point.
Because Josh Allen had a heap of potential, but had nothing else, helped mold that guy into the second best quarterback in the league. And now look what he's done. He's got Saquon Barkley playing like the stud everybody thought he would be.
Yep.
And he's got Daniel Jones as a competent quarterback. And he's got the Giants in the divisional round. Like,
it's impressive.
Insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, you all pretty much touched on it, but I do want to say that the play before that 4th down as well, you touched on it before, but I just want to elaborate. You have KJ Osborne, who's wide open, and you hit him around the numbers and he can't catch that. Stuff like that hurts them too.
But yeah, they had it. They had too many brain farts in this game. It just seemed like the moment was too big for the entire team. And yeah, it's easy for me to sit here and bash Kirk Cousins for that 4th down play, but really he did all he could do. I felt like he was, I don't know. He was sort of let down. I think they were just too big for the moment. So I don't know. The Giants were ready though. The Giants knew. I mean, they were prepared for this moment. You could tell. They just had the confidence and the swagger throughout this game, and that makes a big difference in the playoffs. It's do or die. Right. So,
well, and I think the defense lost the game for the Vikings, but that the moment of the fourth down, the check down, I think that that Kirk Cousins did. I think that will be remembered as the Vikings losing because of that. But it was really the defense that killed that game.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally agree.
I agree. So the Giants over the Vikings 31-24. We will take a short break, and when we come back, we will give Dan the floor to talk about the Ravens and Bengals. We'll be right back.
Hey, sports fans. Thank you for listening to and supporting the Kirby on Sports podcast with founder and host Josh Kirby, along with lead contributor Dan Dembski. Like, subscribe, and give them a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast from. My name is Dr. Dave Miles, founder of Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation. Our company helps leaders build engaged and productive teams. Exclusively for listeners of the Kirby on Sports podcast, you can take an opportunity to discover your primary communication style and learn more about effective communication with others. Text Kirby to 757-903-0743 for your free copy of the Working From Home Communication Assessment, where you'll learn your primary communication style, how to better communicate with others not like you, and tips on working remotely based on your personal communication style. 10 minutes, tons of resources, learn about yourself and your team. Again, text Kirby to 757-903-0743 for your free assessment report today. I'm Dr. Dave Miles, founder of Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, where we help you and your team be more engaged and productive by understanding each other better. Back to you, Josh.
All right. Welcome back to the Kirby on Sports podcast, the 3-man booth, joined by special guest Deb Whitcas. Now let's discuss the AFC wildcard battle on Sunday night between the Bengals and the Ravens. Back-to-back weeks, the Bengals and the Ravens are playing. Tyler Huntley in the game for the Ravens. Obviously, Lamar Jackson was sick, but obviously he could not play due to his knee, but he was sick. That's why he didn't travel.
Oh, that's why he didn't travel.
If that's relevant.
I was very confused at first. I was like, what are you talking about?
He was sick. That's why he didn't travel. Yeah. But
even I didn't know that. Thank you, Kirby.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
For life.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why he wasn't on the sideline. He was watching from home. But and before we even get into the game, there's a lot of controversy about Lamar Jackson and his future. I don't want to bring that up, but
But you just brought it up.
No, not about his future. Not about his future. But the fact is that a certain somebody by the name of RG3 who posts something very well on social media about I went out on the line, fought for my team and my brothers without an ACL and LCL, and look what happened in that game. Lamar Jackson has a career ahead of him. It is uncertain where he will be. We will find that out along the way. But my point here is that Lamar Jackson made 100% the right call by sitting out. I understand it's the wild card playoff. And Dan, I'm sure you would have loved to see Lamar Jackson in there, but risking further injury is not worth it at this point. Lamar Jackson will get healthy and he will continue to make strides to be the greatest quarterback he can be. And I just feel like that was very classy what RG3 did, because that was a very painful watching that as a Washington fan, watching RG3 tear his ACL, and then he was never the same. We've seen it for so many people tearing their ACL and they're never the same. So I'm just starting off with that he made the right call. And Huntley, I think Huntley did the best he could, but Dan,
except for one play, he played about as well as he could play.
So, I mean, in fairness,
are you blaming it on him though?
Yeah, I was going to say, in fairness, was that really his call to run that?
Yeah, I think
go over the top.
Coordinator.
I don't know. Who knows? They're just.
I would have gone underneath. I don't really understand the over the top, because that was like second down, wasn't it?
Well, you saw Trevor Lawrence do it literally the night before where he went over the top, but Trevor Lawrence is 6'5".
Yeah.
Right.
Huntley's 5'11".
There's a certain way you have to go over the top too. I mean, if you have to sort of dive at the same time.
Well, it also has to be at a certain. They were 2 yards away
They were
from
too
the
far
end zone.
away.
They they didn't even like get close.
Lost
like
the
that
ball
ball was
one.
never
Yeah, you lost
close.
one.
Never.
Yeah. That was just really bad awareness of where they were on the field.
That led to a very enthusiastic call by Mike Tirico afterwards.
I've been gutted a lot of times in Ravens playoff games. That one is up there for me, though. Oh my god!
Again, at least you've gotten to witness the Super Bowl in your lifetime.
That's true. That's a good point.
This is true.
I'm fortunate for that.
But Dan, let me ask you this: what's it going to take to fire Greg Roman?
Nothing else.
I think he's done. I think he's done.
Well, here's the thing about it too. His contract's up, so you don't even have to say we fired him. It's going to be a mutual agreement to part ways or something along those lines. Something that's more amicable that front offices like to use. So I think that's what it's going to be. They're not going to re-sign him. Now, who they get, I don't know. I think there's going to be a plethora of candidates out there. We haven't even seen the total sum of that
younger
yet.
brother. Why don't you guys go for him? What's the name? Mike LaFleur?
Mike, yeah.
Yeah, because he just got fired from the Jets. So
yeah. Might not be a bad idea.
It's not a bad pick.
Yeah, I don't know. The defense played so well. I just feel like the offense squandered so many opportunities, and that really goes back to Greg Roman. After J.K. Dobbins' touchdown, he never got any more carries. I think he only got like 2 more carries, maybe the rest of the game or something along those lines. It was pretty low, and no carries inside the red zone, even inside the 5 at that point. And so, after the game, you heard his remarks about how, they never should have been in that situation, and he should have gotten the ball, and he should have been given an opportunity. I don't want to equate that to the Marshawn Lynch situation in the Super Bowl with the Seahawks, but it kind of is similar to that, right? Like everybody knew Marshawn Lynch has got to get the football here. And, the Seahawks make the worst decision they made probably in their franchise history.
You're the second person I've heard to make that comparison. So
really? Okay. Yeah, I know it's a stretch. And you're talking about a wild card.
I don't think it's a stretch because it really felt like the Ravens were hell bent on having Tyler Huntley throw you guys to a win, basically.
That's exactly what it seemed like. And with our receivers, I was just like, oh God, please no. Like, can we just run the football? And we were having success running the ball. I mean, I think J.K. Dobbins was getting close to 10 yards a carry or something like that. So he was ripping off some really big runs. He looked as close to 100%, if not 100%, than he has all season. Of course, he's battled the injury. He had arthroscopic surgery to get his knee repaired, I think like 6 or 7 weeks ago now, maybe further back. It's hard. I mean, the season's just flown by, and it's hard to think back to all that stuff. But he ran very well. It's typical Greg Roman. I mean, I kind of called it. Like my brother and dad and I were all watching the game, and it's just like, the Ravens were in that game right there. It's just like you need to make 1 or 2 plays. That's really what it comes down to in most playoff games. And, that was just a catastrophic mistake. And the difference in the game, the Ravens were deflated. And I just felt like after that, it was over with. But the defense is a contending defense. I think they're right there. I mean, I think they're like top 5 in scoring defense in the league, especially good in the second half. Maybe it's, what is it? Oh yeah, I think it's once you get past the 50, they're like a top end defense in the league. So they'll give you that space. I mean, the Bengals were just killing them, lining Jamar Chase up and just running comeback routes. I mean, those are hard to cover, and those are timing routes. And we all know that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have run those routes 300 times, and you could tell. I mean, the Bengals were just scorching them on those simple routes. They didn't do anything that was too fancy, in my opinion. But the Ravens were bending and not breaking on defense. It was just that one, huge critical mistake that pretty much ended their season. And overall, I mean, I was impressed with the effort. I had a feeling it was going to be closer than people thought and closer than Vegas thought. I thought the spread was kind of goofy in this game because it's a divisional game, and you sort of
it's also it's also an AFC North game. Like those games aren't high scoring. They're just not.
Absolutely.
Through that. Yeah, it's always a grinded out defensive type of game, and that's exactly what it was. My mind went back to week. I guess it was the first time they played the season, whatever week that was, probably 6 or 7 or something. And when they played in Baltimore, and I think it was 19-16, the Ravens won. It was looking like it was going to be like a very similar game to that, but and it basically was. But the Bengals are just so good. I mean, their weapons on offense are just ridiculous. And I got to give Tyler Huntley some credit. I felt like he did a good job against a very solid defensive line that the Bengals have. The Ravens have, I mean, they had some more offensive line injuries in this game. I think Morgan Moses was out for a while, and they had to shuffle some guys around. Definitely more fortunate this year as far as the offensive line stayed pretty healthy for the most part, which has been, I think, the reason why they finished 10-7, which doesn't sound great, but they did have a very favorable schedule down the stretch. But I'm getting off base here. I think this team is just, and I've said this to you all, and it's just like they have to revamp this offense in the offseason. It's got to happen. The first thing you got to do is you have to sign Lamar Jackson. You can't let him get away.
You have to.
He's a generational player. You just can't. And if he goes somewhere else, it's the rebuild is on. I mean, guys are going to want out, I think, in that situation too, and it's just going to be a mess. And I think it's just, I think something will get done. If not, I think the Ravens franchise tag him. A lot of people think they're going to franchise tag him and trade him. I don't really think that makes sense, unless they get like a boatload in return, which I guess you could.
They would definitely get a boatload in return for him for sure.
But I just don't, I don't think that's the front office's prerogative. I don't think they're going to trade him. So, they'll find a way. But I mean, I'm not 100% confident, right? I mean, this is a business after all. Lamar's representing himself, and so that adds another layer of difficulty to it. You can't be critical of a player to their face. You can be critical to their agent. You can find ways where, hey, he's underperformed in this respect, or he's been injured the last couple seasons. I mean, he's missed, he missed the end of the regular season last year, and and this year as well. So it's just like, it's a little concerning going forward. But overall, I thought the Ravens played really well. If they can keep that defense together next year, I think it's going to be a pretty solid season if they can work on this offense, because it's almost like you need an overhaul at this point. I think they have some pieces there in the receiver core, some guys that can make some plays. Demarcus Robinson is not our wide receiver one, at least he shouldn't be next year. I think you got to bring him back, but he's more of a 3, I would say, as far as the receiver is concerned. So definitely have some work to do. Again, I think if the defense comes back strong, I think the Ravens will be able to compete. It's a very tough division. Cincinnati's obviously the team to beat. Pittsburgh's going to be back next year. We saw what they did at the end of the season. And Cleveland,
we'll see. We'll see with Cleveland. We'll see. We'll see if Deshaun Watson learns how to play football again.
But I wasn't overly impressed with the Bengals. It's kind of similar to the Bills. They could have run away with this game with just the matchup on paper. That's why it's going to be so hard to pick these games for the divisional round. So,
I mean, to your point,
but they get it done.
Without that fumble return, I'm not sure they would have won.
Yeah,
I agree with you there, Deb, because if they would have punched it in there, or
you at least get 3. If you at least get 3 if the worst thing happens, which with this offense, the worst thing often happens. So, but yeah, that's you're exactly right. That was it right there.
Yeah, total game changer. I mean, they did it in style too, unfortunately, and I apologize, but I mean, it was
crazy.
It's
also wild to me that Mark Andrews was the only one hustling to try to catch,
right. Yeah, it was like Mark Andrews, and like he was like he was actually starting to catch up, and then I saw no other Raven trying to get back there, and they're faster Ravens than him.
Yeah, that was extremely disappointing to me, but it's just like it's the playoffs. you don't get another game next week, so yeah, I don't know. That was one of the most. I mean, I remember Billy Cundiff's missed field goal in I guess that was the 2011 AFC Championship game. I guess
Billy
it was 2012.
Cundiff was so bad. Oh my gosh.
and he missed it by 25 yards. That one is up there for me, but this one might be worse just because of also the division rivalry, and the Bengals are feeling pretty good about themselves. They've been talking a lot of trash. I really hope Kansas City are, obviously they'll see Buffalo this weekend, but if they advance past Buffalo, which I don't think they will, but I hope someone puts them in their place because they're too cocky for my liking.
It's funny.
They act like it's a dynasty. You know what I mean?
There was a conversation about Joe Burrow is he confident or is he cocky? And I was like, I think he's a little bit of both.
He's definitely both.
He treads the line.
Definitely both.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was a little bit actually more to cocky, and I think he even said that himself. But
he did.
But Joe Burrow's so good though. Like he is truly a great quarterback.
Did you see that clip during the game where Joe Burrow tapped Collinsworth behind and just walked off?
I was like, hey, what's
He
up?
didn't break Collinsworth though. Collinsworth knew to look to the right instead of looking to the left. He didn't get him. Good try though.
Oldest trick in the book, probably.
Yeah. Well, the Bengals defeat the Ravens 24-17. We'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the Monday night matchup to round out Super Wildcard Weekend.
Hello, this is Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, giving a shout out to all you people listening to the Kirby on Sports podcast. I'm excited to be a proud sponsor of Josh and his podcast. We've known each other for years, and I want to give you a quick heads up that if you need anything with real estate, whether it be buying, selling, renting, looking for land, commercial, residential, you name it, give me a shout. Our office downtown on 41 South Cameron Street is amazing. Looking forward to sharing more with you. I love being on the podcast with Josh, and you can listen to me also on my own podcast, Iconic Talk, in any platform that you would look for. Find me and my co-host Megan Eanes. Look for us, Iconic Talk. Look for me as a realtor, Icon Real Estate, downtown, and I would love to connect with you. 540-247-1527 is my contact information. Call, text me anytime. Looking forward to hearing more of how I can help you guys out for the people who listen to Kirby on Sports podcast. Thanks so much.
Located right here in Winchester, Virginia, Barrett Pest and Termite Services celebrates 25 years of service in 2022. And our veteran staff has over 100 years of combined experience preventing and remediating pest and termite infestations. From ants and termites on the ground to mosquitoes, yellow jackets, and hornets in the air, to one-time corrective services for rodents, to ongoing maintenance, Barrett does the job for residential and commercial customers. We also offer discounts for seniors, first responders, and military. What's bugging you? Let us know today, and we'll be out before you know it. That's Barrett Pest and Termite Services, 540-340-3922.
All right, welcome back. The Kirby on Sports podcast, the three-man booth, joined by special guest Deb Whitcas. Carlos, the soapbox is yours. I have nothing to say. The Cowboys defeating the Buccaneers 31-14. Congratulations.
Thank you. I said it in the group chat. I'm not gonna brag too much about this game just because this is what we should have done against the terrible Bucs team. I celebrated the win last night. I was nervous all day. I was putting it in the group chat. As a Cowboys fan, it's been a hard 27 years of my life. When I was born, the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl. I was only 4 months old, I think. I've never seen the Cowboys be successful. I've obviously seen them make it to the divisional round, so this isn't like anything too special. But given how last season ended with that loss to the 49ers, where I think we were by far the better team, it's just we were feeling ourselves after the beatdown that we had on the Eagles. I'm sorry, Deb. Actually, I'm not sorry, but
we'll see who plays each other. No.
listen. I'm not taking anything away from the Eagles this season. The Eagles are a very good team.
And Dallas has done well too. Yeah. I actually did pick Dallas to win. I was, you just never can put Brady down. You know what I mean? Like
I know
that's where he shines.
Yeah, but we did. We put Brady down, and we finally beat the GOAT for the first time in franchise history. That I'll celebrate, but listen,
I can celebrate that too with Taylor Heineke.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Your third string quarterback now, or second string, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, who knows what he is now? But
he's a free agent now.
That third string,
exactly.
That third string quarterback beat Dallas last week. But
that's right.
Congratulations, Kirby. We beat your first string quarterback earlier in the season. We dominated you guys twice the year before that. Do we really want to go through this, Kirby? Do you really want me to? I will hurt your feelings, Kirby. Don't make me do this. Don't make me do this.
Play nice.
Well, and Scott Turner now is no longer the offense. It's a coordinator.
God, let's just not bring Greg Roman in, and we'll be fine. And not
bring
Pat.
You can have him.
Bring him.
We can have him.
He can come down the road.
Take him.
He doesn't have to move.
He doesn't even have to fly.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Bring him in.
Drop right on 495. You can have him.
Too funny.
Listen, it was a fantastic performance by Dallas. Defense played stout. Leighton Vander Esch proving once again that he is that
great
Jenga piece thing. He just shores up that run defense in a way that when he's gone, you can tell that we're missing him. He's not the best player on defense, but he's like the guy that we need there. And Dak Prescott. Dak and Prescott. Okay, my dude. Dudes, the game started out rough. Our first 2 or 3 drives were 3 and outs, I believe. So it started off a little rough. I was a little hesitant, but when my boy turned it on, and shut that, he shut the haters up. So impressed by him. Dalton Schultz had a fantastic performance. The offensive line with all the shuffling has, they held their own here. Obviously Vita Vea was a problem, but later on in the game, once we moved Tyler Smith back over to left tackle and brought in Connor McGovern at guard, we were able to kind of nullify him for the most part. But man, just Dak, I can't stop Dak Prescott. That was the performance I needed to see. That was the performance I needed to see after that complete blunder he had in Washington. For him to finally, for us to win against Tom Brady, for us to finally win a road playoff game that they haven't done since 92. For us to win in the Navy jerseys, which have been, cursed apparently. Listen, things are all right in Dallas right now. Okay. We're feeling good about ourselves, but we know we have a tough test ahead.
Can I just say, but I agree with all that, but it might be helpful to get a backup kicker.
Kirby, that's enough out of you with that. Okay, listen.
There?
He got the yips. All right, he got the yips. Listen, they have already. He got the yips. Listen, Greg Zuerlein was the same way last season. He missed 3 field goals or whatever that would have won us the week 1 matchup last year. What's 4 extra points? Okay, he made the last one. He had the first
changer.
one.
It could have been a game changer,
but it wasn't. Listen, Brett Maher has had a fantastic season. He is afforded one game like this. Okay, he's afforded that right. Now, if we go into San Francisco and he misses the first 2 extra points, now
you got it. Jerry Jones coming out to kick.
Heck, I'd put Cooper Rush
on the jersey, but
putting on the golden shoe.
He probably would. But yeah, you got it. If Brett Maher goes out there in San Francisco and does the same thing, misses the first 2 extra points, or so be it. He's done. We're sitting him on, and we got to bring in somebody else if we somehow beat the 49ers that way. But no, listen. I still believe in Brett Maher. I do. I do. He was the one, given what we went through the last 2 years with Greg Zuerlein, where every kick you were just at the edge of your seat, like, oh my God,
holding your breath.
This season was like it was such a sigh, like it was a breath of fresh air. Like I never was worried about that. This dude made 2 60-yard field goals in Minnesota. I have faith in him. It was obviously, it sucks that his worst day was on probably what's going to be the most watched game other than the Super Bowl. It sucks, but the Dallas Cowboys look good, guys. They look good.
Yeah,
they
look
good.
Gonna disagree with you. They did look good.
If they had lost by 3, though, he definitely would have lost his job. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Of course,
yeah.
But guess what? The Buccaneers are who we thought they were. They are atrociously bad this season. Their coaching is horrific now, and listen,
that's a mess.
We might have ended Tom Brady's career. I'm not saying we did, because I think he might go to the Raiders, but if he doesn't, you're welcome, America. You're welcome.
I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that was probably the worst performance I've ever seen out of Tom Brady. Yep. I mean, he threw the ball down on the ground, hitting missing receivers. I was like,
he couldn't even throw it out the back of the end zone properly. He throws a pick instead.
Yeah, I know.
Credit to the defense.
Dallas took advantage. Dallas took advantage, and just Tampa Bay, I'm not really sure what to think, because the narrative usually is you have Tom Brady and it's like, oh, you have a great quarterback, you can't bet against him. But
he's 45 years old, guys. He's 45. He's going to be 46 next year. Like, Father Time is truly undefeated. He's defied Father Time for this long, but it's like, my dude, like, it's going to catch. Also, this was the most tumultuous year in his personal life.
Right.
There's just so much going on here that personally, I think it's time for him to hang it up. But
it just sucks. You lose your wife and you lose the playoff. Like you lose the playoffs too. I mean, I'm not laughing by any means,
but it's okay, because guess what?
Awful way.
The Dallas Cowboys benefited, and that's all that matters.
Oh, every time. Yep.
I'm done boasting. I'm done.
Dan, Deb, do you have any thoughts?
We had a good game.
Yeah, Dallas was dominating. They needed this game. They needed to play like that, and I agree with Carlos. This was a statement for them. It definitely doesn't get any easier, and we're going to talk about that. But this was a game for them to show that Washington game was sort of a not a fluke, but maybe a flash in the pan type game where
I just think they weren't taking it seriously. In all honesty, I just don't think they were taking that Washington game seriously. You could tell just by the plays that they were running in that game compared to the plays we ran in this game.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they didn't have all their they didn't play all of their starters too, right? Like
against Washington, yes, because there was still that chance of the 1 seed, but I already knew we weren't going to get that.
Got it.
Come on, the Eagles were going to beat the Giants.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith made that known they were playing all the starters.
Yeah, he did. He sure did.
Yeah, that I just
and we all know, because he said it wasn't the first string quarterback for Washington. It wasn't the second string quarterback. It was a guy named Sam Howell.
Well, guess what? He had nothing to say today. He had nothing.
Nope. He was
good old Swagoo made sure he had nothing to say.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin was happy today.
Yeah, he was in the owner's box with Jerry Jones. Carlos, I forget the number here, but was it like 25 years since the Cowboys' last road playoff win?
Dude, it was way longer than that. I said 1992 when they beat the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game at Candlestick Park.
Candlestick.
That was the last time that they won a road playoff game.
Wow. That's crazy. They could do it again, like the Cowboys.
Pump the brakes, man. I'm not ready to talk Super Bowl. I'm not ready to talk anything right now. Okay, I'm not. I'm not.
49ers.
I refuse to let myself get hurt again like that. Okay,
right. Fair enough.
I refuse.
Fair enough. So
take my advice. It's not worth it.
Oh, trust me, I've suffered through it, and I know better than most, Dan. All right, I know better than most.
Hey, at least you're not a Lions fan, though. They've never won anything.
Oof.
Brutal. It's rough for them.
They were looking good the last couple of games, though.
They would have made that 49ers game a lot more fun.
It would have, for sure. The Cowboys over the Buccaneers 31-14. When we come back, we'll preview the divisional round, give you our picks and our guests' picks as well. Stay tuned. Hey, it's Josh here for my friends over at Shenandoah Music, here to remind you that Shenandoah Music is your local music superstore. They carry guitars, drums, basses, keyboards, wind instruments, PA gear, recording equipment, and more. Not only do they have the best selection, but they will have the best prices, and better still, the knowledge to make sure you're getting the gear you need. And with the Shenandoah Music credit card, you buy now and pay it off over the next year. So when you think music, think Shenandoah Music in Winchester across from B-Dubs. All right, welcome back to the Kirby on Sports podcast. It's time to talk about the divisional round and give our picks, and our special guest, Deb, will give her picks as well. So, Carlos Martinez, you have controlled the graphic last week.
We're not going to bring that one in. We're just going to show this one.
So,
jump right in.
I am 3-3 because I suck.
Damn right.
4-2. And Carlos is 5-1 because
Carlos is correct because
I is the best.
Am awesome.
Yeah, Carlos is awesome. So, I mean,
our picks are pretty boring. Not a lot of.
It's mostly chalk. Yeah,
it's mostly just us picking the same teams until the end.
I mean, these picks are straightforward, but I could see Bills, Bengals, and Eagles, Giants going either way.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, you can't see 49ers, Cowboys going either way? That is, you see,
oh, no,
you're biased. You're biased.
Sorry.
Your bias is showing, Kirby.
No,
your bias is showing.
I meant to say them, too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All of them.
Except for the Chiefs, Jags.
Chiefs, Jags, I mean.
I would love to see the Jaguars beat the Chiefs, but I don't think it can happen.
You don't want to see that.
That would be the
see that. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see the Jags in the AFC Championship game. Are you serious?
I mean, I
2017.
I love Peterson.
I have a place in my heart for underdogs. It's exciting.
Stop the cap.
Rudy's your favorite movie. Because if you had a place in
your heart for underdogs, you would have picked the Giants. You would have picked the Cowboys. It's a lie. You're fabricating again.
I'm not fabricating. I'm just want to eat 48 pancakes.
You're rough today.
Oh, tragic.
You're well on your way.
You're well on your way, dude.
Okay, so for people listening on all audio platforms, we have the picks up here. We're all picking the Chiefs. We're all picking the Eagles. We're all picking the Bills. And Dan and myself are picking the 49ers. And Carlos is contractually obligated to pick the Dallas Cowboys.
Contractually obligated.
Yeah.
Contractually obligated. So those are the picks. They're straightforward across the board, but Carlos is picking the Cowboys. Deb, let's get your picks. Starting off, just Chiefs, Buccaneers.
Jaguars.
Chiefs,
wow.
Jags. Excuse me.
Chiefs. I mean, you got to go Chiefs on this one. Like I said,
and tell me why.
Well, I mean, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yes. She beat me to it. I was literally going to be Patrick Mahomes.
That's it. That's all you need.
Such an upset if the Jags were to win. As much as I love Peterson, as much as I love Lawrence, they've got their work, cut out. The whole team obviously has their work cut out for them. But I mean, come on, Casey's going to have it. Love Andy Reid. Yeah.
Big Red.
I mean,
Big Red.
Yeah. Come on. Eagles, Giants. I bleed green. Not the reason I'm picking the Eagles. The Eagles are definitely the better team over the Giants.
Yeah.
I think we all agree that way. I don't think it's going to be as much of a rollover as everyone is saying it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a close game, in my opinion. I think so.
I think the Giants are going to put up a fight.
Yeah, the Eagles haven't necessarily been playing lights out football the past few weeks. Maybe they've shored that all up on the bye week. Maybe they've worked on some things. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But given the trend, they haven't looked too great. Who knows how healthy Jalen Hurts is right now?
Yeah,
that's what I'm concerned with.
Yeah, but I
the bye week too.
New York, they play this game 10 times. I think New York maybe wins it 3.
Yeah, I was gonna go 2, but yeah.
Yeah, I was between 3 and 2. I was between 3 and 2.
Yeah. So no, I think Eagles have it. I just think they're gonna have to work. They're gonna have to play a good game because the Giants can take this one.
Agreed.
So we'll see. Bills, Bengals, going Bills. Like I said, I have Bills Super Bowl champion. Kind of want to see it. I'm speaking with my heart here, but I want to see them, win it for Damar Hamlin. And that's gonna be a fight though too. I mean, just from seeing, I don't know. And then because I think the Bills and the Bengals kind of played the same game, like at the same level.
Yeah, but one thing you have to factor in with the Bengals right now is that their offensive line is very beat up right now. They're missing 3 out of the 5 starters that they started the season with. And also if Damar Hamlin might be at this game, that's going to be an extra that's going to be even more motivation for the Bills to win this.
Right. And it's the matchup. It's the same game.
Matchup.
He was, had the problem on the field. So
great.
Everyone's going to be hyped to actually play this game. So, San Fran, Dallas. Sorry, Carlos, going San Fran.
I don't blame you. I don't. I really don't. Listen, I'm realistic here. This is going to be a tough game for Dallas to win. I think they can do it, but if they do it, like I said, it's going to be a dogfight this whole game. And San Francisco's just so good. They're so good. Yeah. They're so good.
So those are my picks.
Well, there we go. The divisional round is set. The Jags, Chiefs, Giants, Eagles, Bengals, Bills, Cowboys, 49ers. It is slated to be a very, very fun weekend in football. And with that concludes episode 176 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. First and foremost, a big thanks to our sponsors, as always, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett Pest and Termite Services, Shenandoah Music, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, and don't forget, Don't Sleep Energy, the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Use promo code Kirby at don'tsleepenergy.com for 10% off your entire order. Deb, thank you so much for coming on. It was such a blast chopping it up with you.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
Always so much fun, guys. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're welcome back anytime. You're considered a friend to the show, and we do appreciate you as always. And Deb, before we wrap this show up, obviously let us know what is in the works for you once again. I know you have some stuff coming up for the Super Bowl you're looking out for, but what's coming up for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have Pro Bowl, also have obviously Super Bowl. I'm there the entire week and doing a ton of events. I think I have like 13 events so going around the Super Bowl right now for the entire week. I'll be out there covering and also at Media Day. And after that, I mean, I'm at the Combine for sure, working on draft for April as well. Also, I'm in talks to actually work with NFL Media too. So,
okay.
Congrats.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Deb out here.
Big.
Everyone.
Power moves.
Crossing our fingers.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Deb, I'm happy for you there, but just don't forget about us if you make it.
Please.
Don't forget about the little people.
XFL too. I'm hopefully
cool.
going to be covering the Vipers, the Vegas Vipers. So
nice.
I covered the Wildcats back 2.0
and
loved it and had a great experience. So I'm hoping 3.0 is just as fun. So I'm hoping
we debated getting season tickets to the Defenders, but we didn't pull the trigger. We did not pull the trigger.
I think single game's the way to go because
I agree.
Interested.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
So
sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great. Looking forward
exciting stuff.
To hearing what else you have going on in the future. Deb, it was always a pleasure. Thank you very much and hope to chop it up with you again soon. For Carlos, Dan, I'm Josh. Check us out on all streaming platforms, all social media platforms, www.kirbyonsports.com. And until the next time you see us or hear us, always remember to create greatness. We say so long and peace out.